Well, let's go to the passage itself. It's Isaiah chapter 1. And it is denouncing, God is angry with his people in that particular passage. And he says to them, I don't like your sacrifices, your rituals, your liturgies, your incense. And of course, the strange thing is that God is the one who established all that. Why is he suddenly telling them he's not interested? He calls his people Sodom and Gomorrah. So he's not talking to Sodom and Gomorrah, he's talking to his own people. And he says, then your hands are full of blood. And then this is where in that passage, as the Pope says, Isaiah then goes on to say, when you lift up your hands in prayer, I will not listen. What we have to understand about that passage is that it's condemning not only those who do violence, but those who stand by and do nothing to stop it. God is saying in that passage that those who do nothing to stop the killing of the innocent, murder, their hands are full of blood. So now if we want to start applying this passage to those who wage war, then we have to define and clarify what waging war is. Is it doing violence against the innocent? Well, that's what Iranian leaders have done over 5 decades. They target the innocent, Americans and their own people, targeting the innocent, killing the innocent, acts of terrorism. If that's what you mean by war, you use the word violence. That means you're targeting the innocent. Then absolutely, God does not listen to the prayers of those people. Who prays to justify that? Well, it seems to me the Islamic terrorists do. Aren't they invoking Allah as they're flying airplanes into buildings and killing and bombing people? God doesn't hear those prayers. So good, Pope Leo, good. What you're saying is the Islamic terrorists better stop doing what they're doing, because they should have no sense, they should have no thought at all that God is listening to those prayers as they go ahead and target the innocent. However, don't confuse violence with force. Violence is targeting the innocent. Force can sometimes be used to defend the innocent. That is what Pete Hegseth, the Trump administration, and President Trump himself are doing all over the world. They are using force to do exactly the opposite of what God is condemning in that scripture passage. In fact, God is telling his people in that very same passage, he says, do justice and correct oppression. You know what? That's exactly what the United States and Israel are doing right now.
You know, this is such a beautiful example of selective context, right? So if you wanted to take a very wholehearted view of the Old and the New Testament, yes, the New Testament was about peace, but the Old Testament was a very war-filled book, one where God did encourage his people to, as you say, fight for just causes. And what's interesting, too, is I guess some people may criticize the Catholic Church of being a little hypocritical in calling for peace all the time when it has had such a history of war associated with religious causes, such as the Crusades, right? But other wars, too. So there's also a historical contextual problem here with this conversation as well, if you zoom in too close or you zoom out too far.
Yeah, exactly. The context of the last 50 years, President Trump is ending a war. Iran has been waging war for 5 decades, and he is ending a war, just like he's ended, 8 or 9 other wars just in this first year of his second term. He is a peacemaker.
Right.
And the Catholic position is not pacifism. It's not. We don't see war as an intrinsic evil, as we call it. An intrinsic evil, like, for example, abortion, is never permitted under any circumstance. Things like war and capital punishment are, in fact, permitted under certain narrow, limited circumstances, and this has been Catholic teaching from the beginning.
Some of the left-wing media are freaking out over this new contract between us at OANN and YouTube TV.
It's dangerous that One America News is being platformed on such a large digital streaming pay TV provider. You're freaking out about the fact that people have choice. Like people can't be allowed to hear what they have to say. OAN is not the only channel on YouTube TV. There's like dozens of them. So if you don't like what's being said here, we hope you stay, but there's many other things going on in the world. This is how the left operates, Alicia. They operate in censorship. They don't believe in choice and letting people do their own homework. This is the way the authoritarian left works. They don't believe in choice because they don't like the fact that we don't live in the 1960s anymore with 3 networks and your local newspaper.
We have to respect freedom of the press, the First Amendment, free speech. Remember that.
I want to begin tonight by welcoming and thanking all of our new viewers on YouTube TV. Overnight, One America News welcomed a potential 9.4 million new viewers on YouTube TV. So on behalf of everyone here at OAN, welcome to One America News. We are incredibly excited to have you.
This will allow all YouTube TV subscribers to enjoy 16 hours of live news coverage every single day, as well as all of AWE's lifestyle, travel, and family programming. And it will be available in YouTube TV's baseline package. Now, the Vice President and Global Head of Media at YouTube, Justin Connolly, said this about it. Our goal has always been to provide our subscribers with a wide range of content, which is why we're excited to bring One America News to YouTube TV. This partnership gives One America News access to our growing audience, while also giving our subscribers even more choice when it comes to news and entertainment. And we here at The Real Story are extremely grateful for the opportunity to now reach a wider audience. And we're also grateful for the time you give us each and every single day. And we're excited for the future at this amazing network.